be calling you a radical here in snow. Small S, capital N, capital O, small W, Utah. There's no fucking snow. So the big game, the biggest game of the year until the tournament starts, the Big Sky tournament, is today. The greatest rivalry in sport you've probably never heard of. Weber State, Montana basketball. It's epic. It's always been epic. My whole life. I'm telling you, it's the greatest rivalry ever. It's incredible. And so Montana's here against this great Weber State team that is absolutely loaded. But Montana's always ready. They play Montana State on Saturday at 2 o'clock. So the big series is here. So we're going to see what Dylan Jones is made of. Oh, yeah. This is the rivalry in the game that matters. And the scouts are so ignorant and so fucking stupid. It's like I remember having a conversation with the great Jerry Carding, who played on a team that couldn't win. They could not win. And Randy Ray didn't understand. Look, you got this player. You can't win. Just let him take over. Just let him take over. So I talked to him, and we were sitting before the game. I had a long conversation with him. You don't think I got connections of power around here? You don't think people listen to me? Not around here, but the scouts do. You know, they ignore my work at their own peril. You know, it ain't about money. So I told him, you've got to shine in this game. This is the only platform you're going to get. Of course, COVID. But look at him go now in Europe. He had 25 in the first half. Set the all-time record in the history of this building. Not for a half, for a game. For a game, as you know, I've dedicated the season to the incredible Anthony Johnson. I watched so many great marquee basketball games in this building. You know, Arnie Farron was head of the NCAA committees from Ogden. You know, they did honor Watt with a basketball with this doofus that doesn't know anything about basketball. I mean, at the Park Gilbert game, why did they do it at the halftime of this game when they have a crowd? Scouts will be here tonight. Oh, yeah. If they're not, they're fools, you know, because there's a bunch of talent. A bunch of talent. Magic Jones. Dylan Magic Dantley Jones. So, you know, I've dedicated the season to the incredible Anthony Johnson. The games I watched here and the performances and the talent just in the last 15 years. Damian Lillard, Scotty Bamford, Jerry Carding, Jeremy Sieglin, Joe Botton. They couldn't win. So, Big Sky Championship, Damian Lillard's great year. I get cancer. 2011, 2012. I do the play-by-play for the radio station, which them days was called 88.1 The Beat, Ogden, Utah, the community radio station, that we fought for and fought. They waited until I got cancer, 2011 season, got hit by a truck. I'm waiting for my blood work right now. I'm in the bone marrow transplant at LDS site, dying. They sell off the signal for basically $25,000, $100,000, but $75,000 went to friends of theirs, lawyers. Well, it's the same thing. They took the property right here on eminent domain, took people's houses when they built this, and now they're building a hotel there. Against the law? What does the fucking law matter to these people? So, the championship game. Lillard's just tearing it up. I come to they got a bracket buster game. They're going to get probably an 11 or 12 seed. They won the bracket buster. The first, I came out sucked up, skinny like this, could barely walk. Went to the bracket buster game with my nurse, sat next to Eddie Tillman. There's a video of it out there. Lillard goes crazy. That was a great Arlington team. The Texas team was on fire. We beat them. You know, that's back when bracket busters mattered. So they go into the tournament. The year before, remember, was 1 year from the Fukushima disaster to the thing with McCoy was the player of the year. And Lillard. McCoy's the first one that me and him talked. He says, Blanch, you know, we would talk. And the old man, Mr. Freeze, been here forever. Randy Ray didn't have a clue. McCoy says, this guy's NBA stuff. I says, oh, yeah, we've known that from the day he got here. So they lose to Montana State in the quarterfinals. Lillard's not in that game. He's got a broken foot. Jimmer is all we heard. They gave him no love here. Lillard got no fucking love from the media, none. Just like Magic Jones doesn't. I'm the guy that named him Magic Jones. And if you, I'm naming him that years ago. If you ever watched him fucking play, you'd know why I named him Magic fucking Jones. Because that's exactly, Dantley Magic Jones. He's a mix between Adrian Dantley and Magic. He's that fucking good. He is that good. And so, back to Anthony Johnson. The next year, Weber makes it to the championship game, heavy favorites. I'm doing the play-by-play. The Montana people are sitting next to me. I've got this shirt on. It's 40-20 at halftime. Lillard is kicking their ass. Tinkle, what a great coach. And I have to say this about Montana's athletic department. Look, hats off to you, man. They're picked 5th in the Big Sky. They're playing in the championship game. The FCS champion, not the Big Sky champion, the FCS championship game, Montana. They know how to run a football. This place doesn't know how to run a football program. Fuck, it's actually pitiful. All the great NFL players Jay Hill put in there, they don't want to keep that going. Go Maxwell Anderson in the draft, the new TJ. So, Winston Reed. So, Abraham Williams, the NFL superstars they couldn't perform. They have no clue. Montana's basketball team's always ready. So Montana has come out and said for years, we recruit to beat Weber State. I can go back to the Swinton Gym when Judd Heathcote beat them in triple overtime in the last game in that incredible building with one of the greatest teams in history. We're talking Phil Johnson. We're talking Dick Motta. We're talking Gene Fisher. We're talking Bob Davis. We're talking Justin Thigpen. We're talking the great Willie Soldier or Brady Small. We go on and on. We talk about players. Montana beat them. Sent him packing. Weber State paid him back in '95. Heathcote was coaching Michigan State Magic, not that Magic team. Sean Respert, I remember Dave Locke, who's still doing Dave so pitiful. Weber State said to the Lions, they're going to get you. I said, no, they're not. This team's loaded. You don't know shit. He still don't know shit. He's still doing the play-by-play. So, we go from Hot Rod Hundley to that, enough to make it. At least we have Klauke here and Dave Patton, who are excellent, by the way. They are excellent. So, Montana's always recruited. They'll come out and tell you, we recruit to beat Weber. So they recruited Cherry, Damian Lillard's own nemesis from the league he played in Oakland from the time he was a kid. They signed him for one reason, to beat Lillard, but it wasn't him who beat Lillard, was it? Great player. They're up by 22 into the second half. Anthony Johnson. I saw Jimmy Valvano cut down the nets here, the national champion when they beat the number 1 seed in the country in that building. I saw Danny Ainge, who now it's the Utah. Well, it's not the Utah, it's the BYU Jazz, gets sent packing here. I saw Jason Kidd's last game here. I saw Jason Kidd's last high school game at Arco. I saw his last, the Cheeseheads knocked him off. Giant upsets. I saw so many legendary performances in this building. Jerry Carding, Damian Lillard. Just incredible. Never saw anything what Anthony Johnson did that day. Second half, 30, and this is a game that ended up, 67-66? This is a game where Anthony Johnson scored 34 in the second half. You heard me. In a total score of 67? We're talking, they had 20 at halftime. We can do math. 34 of the 47 points was scored by, he never missed a free throw. He never missed a field goal. It was insane. Sessions tries to take over the game. Well, I'm screaming and yelling, keep the ball. Lillard's leading the country in free throws. And I'm like, keep the ball in Lillard's hand. I can remember Lillard looking over, dribbling, looking over. Pass Sessions. Tinkle fouled him immediately. He knew he couldn't make a free throw, and he was Brick City. Tinkle just outcoached him. You had a player that was so on fire, so out of his mind. You couldn't stop him. Double team, triple team, and just. He later said that he had an out-of-body experience. I can relate. I grew up here in Shadow Valley. I'm waiting for my blood test right now. The Angels, it's a reason it's called, it's Shoshone land. It's an incredible piece of real estate. Very controversial when they put this here, the water's curse. Anthony Johnson died this year at his little girl's birthday party at 37 years old of a stroke. I think I'll write a book about it one day if I don't die. I was given too much to live in 2011. There's no doubt in my mind Damian Lillard would have been the number one pick in the NBA if they'd have won that game. God only knows how far they've gone in the tournament. It's kind of like Eddie Gill. We haven't had a triple-double since Eddie Gill, 99, 2000. That loss up at, I sat with the president of the university, had breakfast the next morning. Thompson, I've known him my whole life. You really can't fire him. Oh, he did. Never recovered that shot. Haslam, Miller on the floor of Florida. Weaver had him beat. Rimmed out free throw, puts it to overtime. Weaver loses after they beat North Carolina. So they go back in 95, the great Ruben Nemhart, the great Jimmy DeGraff, that's who I wanted to be coach. So I voted for, but because I didn't want to continue the Randy Ray. Thank you. But Eric, they gave the thing. I look back on it, I'm all for it. I like Eric a lot. He's made a believer out of me. He's not Randy Ray. We'll see tonight. Big game for these guys. Big game for Sidell Threet's son. Big game for Lays is his name. I call them the trifecta. They've been together the whole time. They're roommates. Two's evolution. Alex Two, what he's done as a player. He's the most improved player in a 3-year period that I've ever seen in my life here. Of course, Dyson Kohler, the local, who's got a scar bigger than mine, and I have one from ear to ear. Open heart surgery last year for the second time. Cancer, all cancer. My healthy heart torn to shreds. So they put together this preseason thing, and I'm like, my buddy says, I'll buy you a ticket, Kevin. Well, see what they got available. Front row right behind Cloud. I'm like, how are those available? And then I looked at the preseason. Everybody gave them up. These are tickets that weren't available for 30. Well, since I came to the opening here, 1977, this incredible building. I saw Stevie Nicks here. Oh, incredible. Alabama, Jethro Tull, and go on and on and on and on and on. I graduated in there. I mean, all the events. Never has there been a performance like Anthony Johnson. The greatest rivalry you never heard of. Oh, yeah, Montana Weber State basketball. Ask Damian. They lose that game not because of Lillard. Got out coached. The leading free throw shooting percentage in the country. Well, wait till you see the numbers here. Steve Maplanka has missed free throw the entire season. He's some kind of player. We'll see what he can do. They have a whole bunch of marquee. There's no doubt in my mind there's probably 7 or 8 players that have marquee professional careers. In Europe, that's where it's at. Look at Zaire Porter. He rode the bench here. He scored 57 in a game in Europe. He broke his foot, I heard. Jarek had some shoulder surgery, but I think he's back. He's up there in the Pyrenees, in the mountains where they can still. I hear they don't have any snow either. So, I think Dylan Magic Jones, this is a prediction of mine, the 23-year streak without a triple-double, the great Eddie Gill, who could be, well, he's definitely top 5 greatest players who ever played here. Harold Arsenault, the show. Whew. What players. So, Dave Patton, who does play-by-play, what a player. Is it still a Randy Ray era? I hope not. We've always had talent here. This athletic department just doesn't know how to win. They lost how to win. We'll see about that. Montana's good. They'll be ready. I told every one of these players, if you don't think they're going to come in here ready, you don't know shit. Montana, they're coming in here ready. Oh, we know. So, there they are right there. That's the Montana bus right there. That's the Montana players right there. Sure shit. That's them. This should be epic. Dylan Jones' most important game today, no doubt. So I had Damian sign that right there. By the way, he's on a team. Do I think they're going to win it this year? Yep. I hope. Not about always. I'm not a fan of his money and his business decisions, what he does with his money, but talent speaks for itself. Scotty Bamforth in Europe speaks for itself. Jeremy Seaves speaks for itself. Joe Ballenboy speaks for itself. Jerry Cardinal speaks for itself. The greatest performance in the history of this building. Stevie Nicks, that was in their heyday. We're not talking old people. Fleetwood Mac in 1981, I believe. It's a Mistake, Men at Work, Alabama, you know, the Outlaws. Yeah, not those Outlaws, the Outlaws, the real ones. I mean, all those great concerts, all those great teams, all those NCAA tournament freaking games that were so incredible. The incredible Jimmy Valvano cutting down the nets. You know, the great Jason Kidd, got to see him play here. So many great athletes play here. Never in the history of the great Event Center, this Purple Palace that is something else. One of the most well-built buildings in the world. You know, that's back in Ogden, Utah in the 70s when they were the craftsmen. Come on, Blanch, the craftsman. The biologists. So I've dedicated the season to Anthony Johnson. Weber State's a 4.5-point favorite. You think it's all up to Dylan Jones tonight? We'll see. Yeah. This is his most important game? Yeah, I already told him that. But he's got a lot of company. A lot of excellent players on this fucking team. But so does Montana. They always do. They always do. So Heathcote beats him in the Swenson in double or triple or the last game ever in there. David Locke, who's got to be the most pathetic commentator in the history of sport. Well, the Jazz are pathetic. You know, compare him to Hot Rod Hundley. Whoa. I have some great stories about Lillard over and over. I've told him to nausea. My favorite player who've ever played here, Jerry Carty. Won't tell this crew. These guys. My favorite team, this team. Anthony Johnson, interviewed years later about this game. Never did it before. I had an out-of-body experience. Oh, I can relate. It's the greatest performance in the history of this building. So they'll be ready. They'll be ready. Both teams. It'll be epic. And people in Ogden, they're too busy running down to see what BYU's good. My neighbor from Fremont High School plays for him. Nicky Post, freaking son. Dylan Hall. You know. Dyson Kohler. Alex Tu. Dylan Jones, I call the trifecta. They all run together at the rim. Steve Van Plankton knocking down threes. KJ Cunningham, Sedell 3 power guards off the bench. The young VV, I call him, Vin. We went in Vin. Marco, young players, they're loaded. But that doesn't mean you'll win, does it? Doesn't. Coaching matters. During the game, coaching matters. The dynamics of an in-game coaching, which this team hasn't had since Ronald Bagley. Go ask Eddie Gill. Go ask Harold Larson on the show. So, should be epic. Should be epic. I mean, the season ticket heap offer me was $350 on the front row. See, this game alone's worth that. It'll be a classic. No doubt in my mind, it will be a classic. Got a prediction on the game? Yeah. We were in a close one. Dylan Jones with a marquee game, career game. We'll see. That's just a prediction. Stand tuned.